I was trying to think of a good comparison for like the house elf thing, you know? Just because it's like, it's weird. Like, are we supposed to root for this? Or are we still supposed to be on Hermione's side?
Yeah.
Should Harry be like giving him clothing and setting him free immediately? Okay, maybe not. He'll run to the Dark Lord or whatever. But I don't know. Should we still be rooting for their freedom? That's what I'm back and forth about.
Do you think that if they released him, that he would actually go to the Dark Lord? What would he do in this situation now? Do you like him, or do you think he's like still a little evil?
Well, that's the part I don't fully get. Like, can he be trusted? I don't think you can, one Oscar and then boom, all of a sudden you trust him. Yeah. We've seen Barty Crouch Jr. pull the wool over our eyes with some tears and don't let him put me away, Dad. And remember, the trial at the beginning. Harry, I think, saw it in the pensieve. But why did he see that? I don't remember all the details now. But he did see it. Maybe Dumbledore was showing it to him because he was looking for clues or something. But I don't want to be deceived again. Creature can't be trusted. But when it's all over, I feel like it'd be a nice thing. Like if it wasn't for the whole battle with the Dark Lord thing, maybe Harry could say, "Hey, creature, here's your clothes. You're now free, and you are free to work and live here as long as you want. Not underneath the sink or whatever his cupboard is, but like give him one of the bedrooms or like at least a part of a bedroom or some like nook, somewhere he wants. And like you get to pick whatever room in the house, and for as long as you want, you can live and work here if it's something you feel like doing." And
I don't think he'd go to Voldemort anyways because he's the one that like poisoned him, like had him do a.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
He was like the test run for the one of the Horcruxes.
So is all of this out of loyalty for loyalty to his mistress? That's really the thing.
Oh, but then that's Bellatrix, isn't it?
Well, no, I was gonna say Sirius and Regulus's mom.
Oh.
Just because she was seemingly the boss lady. And so he was so loyal to her that I think he adopted her like thought process and views on like Muggle-born people and stuff. And that makes him kind of, evil. But now if he's loyal to Harry and starting to adopt some of Harry's like views on things, does that make him good? Or is he even good if he's just going with on the whim of whoever his boss is? I want someone to be good
that was evil, okay? Because like everyone's turning bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan.
That is kind of true. Like you're looking for someone who was evil to go good, and Regulus was kind of like that, I guess, a little bit.
Right.
So maybe Creature is going to be like that a little bit. You hope,
Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean,
I have a funny thing.
You got a funny thing?
I think it's funny, but maybe it's not. So I'm sitting there and they're
I was belching. I'm sorry.
Where was it? Was it the first or second, 12 or 13, when they're pulling the hair off of everyone to make the polyjuice potion? Yeah. And then I go, did Voldemort make himself bald on purpose so no one could polyjuice him?
Yeah.
Or is it just half snake? Yeah. Anyway.
It's a good thought.
I know.
I was like, that would be awesome because then you just can be him and have people do things for you.
That's like the Spider-Man meme. Harry would go as Voldemort. They'd have a piece of hair of Voldemort and like they'd be pointing at each other. What's the real Voldemort? And everyone would be fighting.
That'd be great.
Or can you pull like a body hair?
But does he have any of that either?
Yeah. He
shaves
every
he's
night.
A scaly man.
Scaly man. I wonder if the scales would work.
Serpent.
Or if he's got toenails again. We talked about
toenail
management.
Toenail.
No nails. Yeah, I'm just saying it all works. It's all the same keratin, right?
All right, scientist.
So
you just need some DNA.
Oh, that was a trivia question, wasn't it?
Wait, just DNA?
Yeah.
Even saliva could work. Does Voldemort chew gum? We don't know. Yeah.
Actually, maybe it's not just DNA.
Hair.
It just has to be a part of the person, a piece of the person.
Because Ron says we need a
piece.
You could rip a tooth out or something crazy.
Right. You need a piece of the person that they're changing into. I guess hairs is the easiest one.
Oh, okay.
But Harry's blood went into Voldemort. So what if he tries to turn into Voldemort and accidentally just turns into himself again? Because his part of himself is in Voldemort. Or vice versa.
That is
Wait, has
weird.
anyone
I still don't
polyjuiced
get that.
Harry yet and been Harry? They
Seven
all did when they
Potters,
did the
they all
seven.
did.
I wonder
Quite a
if
few
any
of
of
them.
them had any Voldemort tendencies while they were being Harry because of the scar and how like there's that magical connection.
Yeah.
Wait a second, did they have scars?
Yeah.
Because that would answer our question
That's a
whether
fascinating question.
whether there would be the disfigurement of
Ask the
these
people.
magical disfigurements
Yeah.
with polyjuice.
Everyone, did they have scars when they transformed?
Did they have to cover their forehead with their hair so it looked like they had a scar, but it was
Right,
covered?
they would
Or
cover it
did
up
Actually,
either way. But then it
they
would
wouldn't
just.
actually get visions and stuff either, though.
I don't think they'd get the visions. Well, that'd be so weird if Voldemort's feeling that, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh man, my brain's exploding. It feels like
There's
I'm in seven
of
places
them.
at once."
Or maybe that's how he knew to come get them.
The layers.
He splits his soul into seven. Now he's splitting his brain into seven.
Oh.
Danny just had a major
Like,
epiphany with that
oh,
statement.
7, and one of the 7 is split into 7. That's a lot.
Oh my God.
All right. Yeah.
That's a fascinating idea, though. I mean, the books keep talking about the connection that they have, and you guys keep bragging out about that. But the idea of polyjuice and that Voldemort used Harry's blood is a really weird, fascinating idea
Danny
for like what
does
polyjuice
not drop
potion would
it.
be. I know.
So true.
It's probably going to come up, so you're probably going to win. And
I'm going to win. Oh, let's see.
Because you know I like to win. Oh, yeah. I didn't get to look at the pictures yet. You're looking up the scar, aren't you?
I just can't tell.
It
I
is-
don't think there's any visible scar in the chapter 4.
So people
Chapter
on chat
picture.
are saying it definitely is because Barty Crouch Jr. had all Moody's scars because Moody was a deeply scarred person.
Yeah, but that was
So-
one of those things we were questioning whether he had to put on the prosthetics every
Oh, that's
morning
right,
and do the
yeah.
whole thing.
No, only you were questioning.
All right, I was questioning.
Full makeup. He's sitting in his makeup chair for 6 hours before he goes
Yeah,
to
yeah,
class.
yeah.
Gotta deal with this again.
I
It's
imagine he
easier
had
like
a couple
this,
house
yeah.
elf assistants, you know.
And I
like
get
the
their
salon.
reactions. So it's perfect.
All right, so then that
I will be your
means
audience, Jen.
if you took Bill's hair, you'd end up with the disfigurement, and if you took one of
Ew.
George's hairs,
That's
you'd end up
gross.
missing an ear.
Yeah.
That was George, right? Yeah, Fred.
Yeah.
Fred has both ears.
Yep.
The eye. Is the
Speaking of Moody.
picture. Is that Moody's eye? It's
No,
like
but it's
Moody's
like it.
eye.
Yeah.
And it's Umbridge's eye.
Could it actually be?
Well, they said they noticed it missing, so they knew something was up.
Harry did say it was like Moody's eye.
But why
I wonder
would-
if she
why did
found
he
Moody's
keep it,
body and
though?
took the
He
eye.
should have just left it and like covered it.
No, I like that he took it.
Why?
Kind of. Because I viewed it as a tool that he
To
could
what?
then use to like spy or look at things.
But
'Cause-
he's not seeing the other end.
Is he
just
not? 'Cause-
has the eye.
But I thought he looked through it. It was like a telescopy little thing.
Is it?
We'd have to review. Again, I was reading a
Umbridge
little rushed
made it
today.
a telescopy thing.
What?
Umbridge made it a telescopy thing.
But Harry only took the eye part. Oh, that's even more dangerous. Then what if Umbridge
That's
can
what I
see
was
where they are and what they're
saying.
doing?
They should have covered it or
All
scratched
right, you won me
it
over,
or
Jen.
broke
That was a
it.
bad idea, Harry.
I think he
I
took
won
that
you
thing
over
out
one
as
time.
well because there was a hole in Umbridge's door.
Yes, twice.
So,
But you guys don't think it's Moody's actual eye. You think it was an eye that she created.
no, I viewed it as potentially being Moody's eye. 30% chance.
30% chance that it's Moody's eye.
Yeah, it was 15 before now, but now
Ew,
that we're
that's
talking
right,
about it,
because they
it's
couldn't
gaining
find
momentum.
Moody.
They couldn't
Well,
find
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying. So
that's
what if Umbridge found him?
disgusting.
It
Is he
was-
half something? Is he a pureblood or
Doesn't
half
it say
something?
who? Moody?
Moody.
Moody? But did we ever know this?
I don't think
I
we
would
do.
probably say half blood or something like that.
Because
Not
then that
sure.
would make her really want to take his eye.
It says that Harry was incensed with rage because didn't it say he recognized it as Moody's ear or Moody's ear?
Eye.
Well,
Is it, what is it? Fred or George's ears on the door? Now,
I don't think it said it was his, but
It
it
had the
said something
color?
about it being very similar, like a look just like Moody's. So, I did do some kind of circling. An eye that was shockingly familiar to anybody who had known Alistair Moody.
So do you think that makes it clear that it is his eye, or that it's just...
My first read, I did not think. I was just reading it as similar to, because it's a piece of technology.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's probably made by somebody who just makes a bunch of these. So I viewed it as the same, just like Fred and George make all these devices, the same device, same person made it, whatever it might be. But now that I'm reading it again, shockingly familiar, makes it more likely it is his actual eye. And that would explain why Harry grabbed it too.
Yeah. A little justice for Moody's eye.
Yeah, like kind of the only part of his body they've recovered.
Oh, that would make sense.
But it also means somebody found his body, which gives me this weird little bit of hope. What if he's a prisoner somewhere?
And they're like torturing him in the Ministry
He's
of
back
Magic
in
somewhere.
his chest chamber thingy.
Yeah.
Oof,
that guy has had a rough life if that's the case. If he's being tortured again and his body is alive somewhere,
Would they keep him alive?
But how could you keep the eye if he's dead? The eye was not a part of him.
No, it's like technology. That's why Barty Crouch Jr. could wear it too.
Technology.
Yeah, like I'm viewing it kind of like the putter outer or anything else. It's like something you use, like a tool. And then I guess that's why Umbridge can start using it as a tool too.
Why didn't they use that in the Ministry of Magic when they were trying to leave the putter outer or whatever?
Ooh, yeah,
That's a good idea, Jen.
Oh yeah.
What were they thinking?
That was dumb. They could have all.
No, they weren't. And Harry fessed up to that too. He said, the plan we made seems a little childish in hindsight.
Yeah.
Definitely.
'Cause they all
we
got
didn't think at
separated.
all about what we were going to do once we got in here.
Good thing Harry was that character or person,
I
though.
know. Seriously, they picked kind of good people to do that. They got really
But that was
lucky.
another thing.
Yeah, you're
Like
right.
they didn't even pay attention who to pick.
I know. They just
And
picked
that-
the people who were operating on their own, like isolated.
The logic of, well, the plan's not going to get any better. We might as well do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? No. Like,
I
actually
was
make a
surprised
plan.
Hermione allowed it. He might
Yeah,
regret it.
that's another interesting one. Hold on to the discussion on the locket heist, because that's like literally the entirety of what we're going to talk about. But welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. If you would be so kind to go rate and review this podcast, that would help out a ton. Seriously, that helps out so much. And then also go subscribe to us on YouTube. We are trying to hit a goal by the end of the year. So if you're listening to this before the end of the year, or even if you're listening to it after the end of the year, go subscribe to us on YouTube. We pump out a lot of content, a lot of fun different things on YouTube with our members, with people who support us, with other live streams that we do. So go check us out on YouTube. It's First Time Readers or at First Time Readers. All of our social, all that kind of stuff. The best way to support us, if you want to support this podcast in any way, is go support us becoming a YouTube member, or you can go become a Patreon member. Both are the same, pretty much the same exact thing. YouTube, we do a little bit more, but Patreon is also a great way to support us if you want to support us that way. You guys know all the other stuff. Go check us out on r/First Time Readers. That's where we have all the other stuff listed on a socials post. So you can go check that out. That's pinned to the top. We are rapidly making our way through, or not really rapidly. We're making our way through Deathly Hallows, and we're a little sad that we're kind of coming to a close, but we're excited for more stuff that we're going to produce after this. I feel like this is kind of the culmination of the podcast, and we're going to start making a lot more fun stuff after this with second time reads, with other people who are going to join us on first time reads, with movie watches, all that kind of stuff. So go subscribe to us on YouTube, where a lot of the action is happening, and enjoy these chapters 12 and 13 of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Let's talk about chapter 12. Chapter 12, Magic is Might. Can you give me a quick summary of the chapter?
Don't even remember it.
I did not take notes. I'm sorry, guys.
I take my notes always at the bottom of the page, and this one ended at the very bottom, so I didn't have space to write it before the top. But this is basically they're finalizing, like, we're getting a feel for what their plan is. The chapter was written in a funny way of, like, we're hearing about it all after the fact. It was almost like past tense. Like, it skips a few days or weeks. Actually, it might be a month where then they're basically like explaining it throughout the chapter. We're getting an inside scoop of, oh my goodness, they're planning on going to the ministry. So they're spending all the time with the invisibility cloak, apparating off of the porch of 12 Grimald to do some scoping. Then they came up with this plan, and now they're about to kind of execute the plan with the goal of finding the locket and finding Umbridge. But they haven't actually seen her yet, so the chapter ends with, I think they're about to do their little plan, right?
Yeah. No, the chapter ends with them seeing Umbridge.
Yes.
But then it was saying that there was a lot of Death
On the
Eaters that
elevator.
were still trying to get in. Did I read that
Yeah,
right?
the beginning of the chapter. Yeah.
It's like there was just a lot.
Outside of the 12
and more
Grimald.
and more kept coming.
The beginning of this chapter is a little weird. It takes you out of Harry's perspective for a half second, and it's like these people are like wandering around. Everyone's looking at it. You're like, what the heck is going on? But it's just to show that Death Eaters are patrolling and they're watching, looking for any sign of the house. Because one time they nudge him, and then it goes back into Harry's mind. And the chapter really starts when like Harry goes back into Grimmauld Place, and he's like, "They saw my elbow." That's what they saw.
That's why it was so jarring. I didn't even register that that's why, because you're not from Harry's perspective.
I thought it was
and then all of a sudden
cool.
you are. And
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah.
It just
You know-
took me too long to catch on to it.
To me, like I love that in reading because it just expands the world then.
Yeah.
Like it expands outside of just Harry's perspective, and it just like
That's
nudges
why,
it a little bit more.
in writing, it's supposed to do exactly what you two are saying. A lot of people hate it when you when I took writing classes. One of the things that two of my professors grilled into me was, if you are speaking in one voice, do not ever leave that voice. So like if you're speaking in first person, don't ever leave first person, because you're going to take your reader out of, and they're going to be so discombobulated, like, where the heck are we? But they're like, if you really are good, you can do it well, but it takes a lot of skill to be able to do that well. She does a few chapters where you're not in Harry's mind, and they're only specific chapters. She doesn't really flip it like this. The Quidditch chapters in the first book are kind of like this, where you're seeing it from Hermione's perspective, but it doesn't take it out of Harry's that much. But this is one where you're like, I don't know what's happening right now. She doesn't really write like this a lot.
Right.
But it's kind of fun though. Just like you said, it kind of expands the world a little bit. It like makes you think you're about other people's perspectives, like what the Death Eaters are trying to do. It's kind of fun.
Right.
I still don't get it though. Like I
In
still
what
don't get
sense?
like if they saw Harry, it's game over. Like I don't understand. Like if he didn't have the invisibility cloak and he lands on the step,
Then what?
then what?
They're just trying to capture him. They're just trying to catch him when he's coming out. So like they're just looking for him because they probably know he's in there, but they can't get to him. So they're waiting for him to slip up so that he'll come outside and then they can grab him.
And I think for me, one of the biggest things of suspense is, how do they track this crew? So it was weird to have the chapter start like this and then have that already. It wasn't even an issue to them. We never even saw the kids overcoming that problem and saying, all right, we're going to apparate for the first time. What's going to happen? Are they going to find us wherever we end up? So all of a sudden we're just like, oh, wait, they've been doing this for a month. Oh, I guess they're not being tracked anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. And it just
the
like felt like it was just
tracking was-
over all of a sudden. And then I instantly thought our Rita Skeeter theory is now stronger than ever, because I'm trying to think how else they would have been tracked to the cafe. They would have been tracked to Grimmauld Place, and the Death Eaters know that they're at Grimmauld Place,
Wait,
but they
what are
don't
you
know that they're
saying?
going to the ministry. Just feels
Yeah.
weird. So like whatever tracking was happening, not anymore.
You think Rita Skeeter was a beetle in their pocket?
Yes, skin to skin contact though. So somewhere more near to Hermione's face, hair, foot. I don't know.
Good choices.
Because that would explain how then she wouldn't be allowed into Grimmauld Place. So then when they get nearby, she would just be like pushed away or like somehow restricted.
But she would want to give up Harry.
I don't know that she would want to, but she could be under the Imperious Curse, or she could actually want to. I kind of started to trust her back when there was that whole brouhaha with Hermione in the jar and the writing the article about Harry. And then this does feel like a change of pace, but she wrote the book against Dumbledore, trying to like slight him and like besmirch his name. So I don't trust Rita anymore, but it could be that she's being influenced. And it's just my best theory. I don't know if there's any other thoughts of how they could have been tracked here. Because what else with apparition? It's like if you apparate, then how could anybody know where you went? We know that they were keeping an eye on Arthur Weasley. In the next chapter, we find out that they're like tracking him, but I don't know what tracking means.
Yeah.
I'm assuming because of the way Lupin was talking about it, I'm assuming it only means physically trying to follow somebody rather than like actually having a tracker on them like when you're underage.
Yeah. Because it's illegal. I mean, I think it's almost not even just like magical law. It almost feels like ancient magic that you have, like when the tracers are on people, like you can't unwrite that. It's like deeper magic that's already like when you're 17, you come of age, the trace is off you. Law can't fix that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my interpretation of it.
Yeah. Yep.
But this was, they were very smart in this chapter as well. So, one of the first things they find out in this chapter is they said a large picture of a familiar hook-nosed, black-haired man stared up at them all. Beneath a headline that read, Severus Snape. That was like 7 sneezes.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Severus Snape confirmed as Hogwarts headmaster.
Goodness gracious.
That was
a
insane,
curveball.
I know.
Yeah.
Bad news.
And it's like they all have to go back, right?
Yeah. Every student has to go back.
So weird.
Because Lupin made the point too that before, most wizards in Britain would send their kids to Hogwarts, but you were given the option to keep your kids home and to homeschool them. Now it's mandated Hogwarts education for every kid in the UK.
Oh, I missed that.
So they're like every
I was
student
just thinking,
forced to go there, unless they have Spattergroit.
That was good. It kind of worked, right?
I know, yeah.
It officially did.
Yeah. It's crazy though that Snape is the actual headmaster of the school.
It makes me think that whatever Voldemort was looking for back when he tried to get a job, he maybe didn't get it. If it's a physical thing, some Horcrux or whatever else. But there's also a chance that, like you've been kind of saying, he really does want the education is the thing. If you control the education, you control the population. So you're kind of like, maybe that is the end result. But it almost felt like a waste from Voldemort's perspective to have someone as like powerful as Snape, his right-hand man, in a position at the school. I'm like, does he feel that comfortable that he's in charge now? That he's like, go to school. Yeah. I'm like, isn't there more important like battles to be fought here?
Yeah.
They felt a little silly, but
to the Death Eater's point, Voldemort really wants a few things, but two of the biggest things that he wants are he wants to live forever, obviously. And he wants magical educational reform. That's like what it really boils down to. That he wants to follow in Severus Snape's path of only having purebloods at the school. He wants to make it a completely pureblood school. So I guess he's putting Snape as his right-hand man in the headmaster position so that he can make that happen.
But Snape was playing both sides, but he didn't seem to be offended by like non-pure bloods.
Yeah. Which is interesting, yeah.
You don't think so? Because we always interpreted it like he liked his Slytherins, but I'm just thinking back to it and the people that we know he kind of liked and he would let get away with everything. It was people like Malfoy that we know are purebloods. So then I'm wondering if we were to read it again with the new information, if we would see like a strong pureblood favoritism. And of course, Harry is like the odd man out because of the parental feud. But I'm wondering if there's a deeper level of like he was favoriting purebloods, or if he was selecting purebloods for Slytherin in one way or another. You know, the Sorting Hat has their say too, but like just the idea of like trying to recruit people
Neville,
or something.
Though, too? Neville's a
pureblood.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he hated him. He thought he was so dumb.
Yeah, it's true.
So he doesn't care. He hates Gryffindors really, but he also did show a little bit of racism in. Remember Snape's worst memory, the chapter. Remember what he calls someone the M word.
By
Lily.
Yeah, he calls Lily the M word in that chapter.
So that racism is deep.
Yeah, racism goes deep, and he really does just kind of hate Gryffindors.
All right, forget it. I was always rooting for him. He's so annoying.
I know, it's so frustrating
because he felt like the kind of guy who could be good. You know, like you're like, I think we can win him over a little bit. And then you're like, no. Once you see the past and then I guess ultimately the betrayal, it's like, then you're like, no, it makes sense. I should have seen this coming the whole time. It makes, I don't know, it's so frustrating. It's just like Umbridge for me. I've been rooting for her this whole time, you know, trying to see her be good.
Right,
I'm like,
Snape,
she's
I don't
bad.
know. I was
Shoot.
fine with Snape. Umbridge was bad.
That
from
was
the
over the line
beginning.
for you?
Bad to the bone.
Snape's one of those people who's evil, but you're like, I hope they kind of, hope he kind of turns out good. And
But,
that's why I
he
think
was
it rips
helping.
your heart out.
Remember in the first book, he literally stops something bad from happening to Harry.
I know.
Yep.
So then I was like, oh, we got him. He's not who we think he is.
I know. And he had the answer for that when Bellatrix asked him because Quirrell was a lesser wizard and he didn't really want his master coming back in that way. Yeah, that's like...
I thought that was lame.
Yeah, it's
that
a lame answer.
Passed.
I know. That's like just trying to write yourself out of something a little bit.
But then he did that bond thing.
The unbreakable vow.
Yeah. The unbreakable vow.
Yeah, and then Umbridge is someone who like you just hate. So you just, rather than give her a redemption arc, you're like, can she just die? Can she just like go away?
I really thought she was like crazy after the whole forest
You kind of hoped.
kidnapping.
It almost feels like funny. Like we never got the full scoop, but
know.
she's just back and normal, but worse than ever, and capable of making a Patronus.
You know, rather than stupefy her, Harry should have had like horse hoofs and put them on the ground, mimic the centaurs coming.
gosh.
She has PTSD. She
Oh, that's right.
freaks out.
Everyone's gonna know Harry was there because he stupefied everyone.
I know.
He's stupid.
I know. That was yeah.
Stupefied.
Again, this is the plan of 17-year-olds right here.
Yep.
It's like you want them to come up with a smarter plan, but Hermione probably could have come up with a better plan given more time. But
Agreed.
Harry's just like, let's go, let's do it.
Yep.
Which you kind of, that's like Harry's perspective, that's like his attitude. Let's just go do this, you know.
Wait, so then sorry, this just came to mind. The centaurs, right?
Centaurians.
The Centaurians, yeah.
Wait, now I'm confused.
It's the Centaurs.
It's both.
Okay.
It's both, though.
Only because of me.
Yes.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry. I see that. I feel so bad.
Oh, they have to stay away, right? Like they can't, because the wizards and witches have taken over and they don't want any.
Yeah.
Are they considered
half-breeds.
mixed, like half breeds?
Yeah, that one's a
Because
weird one.
that is
They
weird.
would
Yeah,
be
you're right.
great to have on
I
your
know.
team,
I
and
know,
they should
right?
have went into the Ministry of Magic with them to get Umbridge to like whatever you want. Take
So
it.
it's strange that any creature at all would go to Voldemort's side because they really don't. They have disdain for all those creatures. So like the reason why werewolves are going because Voldemort is promising them more things. This is like political things. It's like you promise things and you won't really ever come through with them, but you're promising them more freedoms if they're, you know, if they vote for you. So he's doing that, I guess, with the giants as well. There's a few other things. But you're like, what creatures would really want to align themselves with him? The dark ones of, when we see in this chapter, Dementors, they're like, in a terrifying way, in the Ministry of Magic, making muggles
Crazy.
miserable and scared and cold. That would be my greatest fear. Just everyone was like freezing outside in the hallway. And I'd be like, that would be the worst thing possible. Just me sitting out in the hallway freezing. And you're like, please just throw me in Azkaban. Just get me a little warmer. But this is another interesting thing. When they get confirmed as
I'd rather be an Azkaban than be cold.
But I was like, I think I might too. I hate being cold.
You guys remember the show Fear Factor?
Yeah.
Yep.
I hated that show.
Yeah, I hated that show.
bugs.
The bugs were gross, but the one thing I could never do, every once in a while they do water tasks and it was like ice cold water. And I was like, I'd tap out there. I wouldn't even dip my toe in that water. I'd be
That's
like, I am
funny.
out. I can't conquer my fear of cold water.
Never way. No way. I couldn't either. You'd be like, I got this. I've done polar plunges and
Yeah.
ice plunges. Whatever.
I feel like now I do it, but I'd be cold for 5 years after that one.
Oof.
I don't think I could move. I would just be like,
Yeah.
okay,
How do you
I'm
function?
done.
But Hermione is very smart in this moment. The other two don't think of it at all. But she runs upstairs to the portrait of Phineas Nigellus. And that's like the chapter art is her shoving this portrait into the beaded bag. So this is what it says. Phineas Nigellus, Hermione explained that she threw the bag onto the kitchen, onto the kitchen table with the usual sonorous clinking crash. Sorry, said Ron, but Harry understood. The painted image of Phineas Nigellus Black was able to flip between his portrait in Grimmauld Place and the one that hung in the headmaster's office at Hogwarts. The circular tower-top room where Snape was no doubt sitting right now in triumphant possession of Dumbledore's collection of delicate silver magical instruments, the stone pensive, the sorting hat, and unless it had been moved elsewhere, the sword of Gryffindor. So do you think that Snape has ever spied on them? Like maybe it was like, because they probably got the news like a week maybe later. Do you feel like Snape
would know that painting was there?
Yeah.
I think the big question is about the paintings and their loyalty, and do they have to do things? Are there rules for paintings, or is there, they witnessed what happened, right? Wasn't that in Dumbledore's office? Mm-hmm. So I feel like that is not the rightful way to become headmaster.
Yeah, right.
Is there a chance that they could rebel against that and not listen to him? Now, if there was anyone who was going to listen to Snape,
it's Phineas.
It would be Phineas, because he's the darkest of them all, right?
He's the worst headmaster.
The worst. And he was a Slytherin, right? So it ends up being like, he's the one we would trust the least. But some of the other ones, for example, like if Snape is talking to all these other headmasters, like the other one we heard here, Armando Dippet. Like,
do you know who else is up there?
Dumbledore.
Oh, that's so weird.
That's what I was like. Can't he tell everyone that?
Yeah, right.
Like he killed me.
Like, guys, this isn't cool, right?
So all the portraits might rebel, but Phineas Nigellus Black would be the one that wouldn't. So that's why, like, Hermione is smart in that moment to put it in the bag.
He also killed Sirius Black, so he was pissed about that, wasn't he? When he went to go check on him.
Well, Bellatrix killed Sirius. But
yeah, because of Voldemort, though.
It kind of was Snape's fault, yeah.
It was still like evil and
yeah.
You know, I wasn't thinking of this whole portrait thing from Hermione's perspective. I was more thinking of this is a direct phone line to Dumbledore's office if they ever need it later.
Yeah, right. I know.
Which is kind of cool.
But why would, for what?
I don't know.
Get there.
But again, if you've got a bag that's endless, you know, you got unlimited carrying capacity.
Wait, is that Harry's bag or her bag?
It's hers.
What happened to his? We haven't mentioned.
It's her. His is probably in her bag.
But he should have the locket in that.
I know. Well, the one that Hagrid gave him.
Yeah.
He's putting certain objects in it, but he hasn't put the locket in it.
That's dumb.
I know. So we don't know what they have the locket currently, but we don't know what they're going to do with it or how they're going to destroy it.
He would be the only one to be able to take it out.
Yeah.
That's what the bag is. Unless he dies, then I guess no one can get it.
Yikes.
What else? What does Harry put in there? He's put the mirror shard, right? He put another.
I don't know. This is Danny's territory, I feel like.
But some of that stuff was a little fuzzy to me. I wasn't paying close enough attention, because it was a live read, so I wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't as slow either.
That's pretty slow.
Not as slow as I read. Notes, scribbling. Excel sheets.
You should get graded on this.
We will.
Degree
when we
in
compete in trivia.
But do you think so? Like, do you think that Snape knows about the Horcruxes at all?
To be honest, yeah. I think he does, only because Regulus knew. And it feels weird for someone like Regulus to know. But
Regulus might have only known because of Creature.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it was really just to get to Creature. Like, hey, I need your house elf.
Great point. Yep.
That is definitely possible, and I hope so. But
Snape is really good at legitimacy too. Like, he was ranked high up.
Yeah.
You think he was like reading Dumbledore's mind, and that's why he was staying close? I feel like Dumbledore would have known it. Well,
I don't know. I was even thinking Voldemort, but maybe Voldemort you can't do that.
Oh, gotcha. I was assuming not.
Well,
I'm assuming he's the third best Legilimens.
Who?
Dumbledore, Voldemort, Snape.
Really? I think I would have done Voldemort, Dumbledore, or Voldemort, Snape, Dumbledore.
Oh,
I know.
Dang.
I hope you're not right.
I hope I'm not right too, but that's how I
there
ranked
is
them.
the part of me that agrees with that assessment,
I know.
only because we've never seen Dumbledore do it.
Yeah.
But I just like thinking of him as being powerful. And I'm like,
I like maybe theoretically he's good,
dead.
but you guys even made the point like he's too polite and proper. He wouldn't actually do it for.
yes.
But Snape and Voldemort would.
But as with
That's
anything,
true.
you have to do it to be good at it.
I know, yeah.
So if Snape's out there getting practice with all of his students and just like, figuring out if they're cheating and like, peeking into their brains whenever they're like up late or whatever else. And then Dumbledore has not done it for years because he thinks it's an invasion of privacy. How could he be good at it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
He's practicing on the portraits or something like that.
Nice.
Isn't that awkward though that Dumbledore's portrait is probably sitting there, probably just staring at Snape every time he works? There's another point to it. Is it possible that the headmaster's office doesn't let Snape in?
I wish.
The whole office? That'd be great because that would be supporting the whole theory of he's not the rightful headmaster.
Yeah.
But I don't know what makes someone the rightful headmaster.
Yeah, because McGonagall was able to go in when she was headmistress for a little bit. But
yeah.
maybe Umbridge wasn't able to go in. Maybe Snape's not able to go in. So maybe McGonagall is working behind the scenes and like,
It would definitely have some serious protections on it, but we don't understand enough about that side of things. We don't understand the governors, again, referenced in book 1 or 2, and they haven't been referenced since, but it seems like they have to choose who's going to be the headmaster. But it feels like whatever used to be the rules have been a little bit thrown out. It'd be nice if they were thrown out enough that you couldn't be the official head of Hogwarts anymore, because the normal, I'll even say magical channels that used to exist don't exist anymore. But I'm putting too much faith in the governors. They were bought off with money and fear of Malfoy and whatever book that was, so they can't really be trusted to that degree. But yeah, it'd be nice. Did I'm trying to think of when Umbridge was up there and if there was any other hints that it would be more secure. Because I like the idea of it, but I don't know. It just stinks to think of Snape running the place.
I know. He's
truly
like
being
in
the
charge.
headmaster.
I know. It's pretty tough.
But maybe when you Imperious the second in command, that like there's a magical ripple there, and like the it doesn't work the same if it wasn't properly elected. They're skipping due process now. I don't know.
So they're talking about their plan to storm the Ministry. And we're talking about how it's like a foolish plan, but should they be doing this in the first place?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I think it was dumb for them to even think that she would have the locket in her office.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Agreed.
I would never keep jewelry in my work, anything.
Yeah.
How do they even know she's wearing it? It could be just sitting at home in a jewelry box. So it feels
They
like
should have scoped out her way out and see, okay, maybe she takes the fire thing or whatever.
Yeah, they weren't able to. So they were trying to look for her, but they weren't able to find her because she feels like she's high up. So she apparates into the Ministry. She's one of the only people who can or take the Flu Network into the Ministry.
it still feels to me like one of the worst plans. Like, just of all the places, if you're going to risk anything, risk it to like go back to the burrow and try to talk to your parents and ask them, does somebody know, like, maybe Mr. Weasley, find him when he's going in. And they're like, we better not talk to him.
Yeah.
Use Polyjuice, talk to him. Maybe he knows where Dolores lives. Oh, yeah, I'll look in the directory. I've got her address right here. Then you go to the house and you do other things. You got an invisibility cloak, whatever. It felt like going into the lion's den of the Ministry right now is not the right move. And then they
But
didn't have
doing
enough of a
any
plan.
of your
They
plans
separate.
do mean that they have to tell people in part what they're doing.
It would potentially lead to those questions.
Because I think
Would
Mr.
Mr.
Weasley
Weasley believe them if they're like,
Yeah.
we can't tell you? Oh, I don't know. Dumbledore sent us on a mission.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, but I can't.
Like Lupin probably could do it, but Lupin can't go into the Ministry right now. Obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know about Mr. Weasley. Mr. Weasley would be an interesting one.
That's all we have.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of I was just cringing. I'm like, they can't really think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Just to find Umbridge. I'm like, I would rather they go to Hogwarts and try their luck there. I don't know, something. Because if you go to Hogwarts, then you could at least, before the students get there, you try and do something, prevent the students from going in, do sabotage stuff, or you try and find the Sword of Gryffindor. Oh, that could be at the Ministry too, though. But they didn't even mention that. Like, oh, Slughorn might have grabbed that, so maybe it's
at the Hogwarts.
Maybe that's where they left it.
In the headmasters.
Maybe that's where it was, but when it was part of Dumbledore's will, I just didn't know what happened to it afterwards. But I feel like that would be a higher priority than trying to find Umbridge right now. Maybe. I don't know. They never tried a good old Accio Umbridge.
Imagine she just comes bowling through all.
That'd be funny.
Just sailing through the sky.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, again, we they are 17-year-olds, so this is definitely a 17-year-old thing. So you always have to remind, we have to remind ourselves that we're not 17. So we're like, they gotta have better plans. They're not really thinking through things. They're still kids.
And all of it was just scouting from the outside.
Yeah.
But they also, in my mind, should have had a let's go into the Ministry and not do anything.
They
and
couldn't,
we'll
though, because they needed the coins.
Well, yeah, but even just using the coins and saying this is just our first little thing, we're going to scout it out. We want to map everything out. We're not going to take any risks. We're going to just do like the simple in and out, whatever. But yeah, you're right. It's too big a risk
because they shock those people or they stupefy those people. Those people.
You're right. Security measures will be put in place the next day.
Like, it's like the plan has to be all or nothing. So to an extent, their plan isn't. It's not great, but it's. Once you start acting in this plan, you just see it to completion.
But don't they know people in the Ministry of Magic? And they could have just polyjuiced them to go in.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like Ron.
But those people aren't trusted in the Ministry anymore.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You go in to scope it out.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Like they could have been like, Dad, we need to go as you. So just stay home today. And we're going to go in.
Give us a few hairs.
And get Percy's hair too while you're at it.
Yeah, right.
And then we'll be both of them.
That's why I just keep thinking of Mr. Weasley because he's the right man for this job. Where is her office? I'll tell you exactly where it is. They wouldn't mention the locket to him because that might be too much. Or you mention the locket, he doesn't even know what a Horcrux is because nobody does. You just say it's gonna sound crazy, but Dolores has a locket and we need it. Can you check her office? Does she wear one? Whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
We're not positive how much polyjuice they have as well. So they might have not a ton. So they're probably trying to limit it because they don't know what's going to happen in the future. They may need to use it in the future as well. So they're being somewhat resourceful. So
which is fair. Yeah, that's good.
They still probably could have come up with a better plan, talking to other people about like even just general facts. You're like, okay, where does Dolores work? They just like learn that from like overhearing them. Like they could have asked all the people that worked in the Ministry, okay, give us a layout of the Ministry. Like, where are things?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That would have been so good. We're going to talk about their heist in a little bit, but Harry, in the meantime, has this vision. And it says, the door opened. A laughing woman stood there. Her face fell as she looked into Harry's face. Humor gone. Terror replacing it. Grigorovich, said a high, cold voice. She shook her head. She was trying to close the door. A white hand held it steady, prevented her shutting him out. I want Grigorovich. And then they have this whole conversation. Voldemort obviously kills them and the kids, which is really sad. And Harry goes, I hate it. I hate the fact that he can get inside me, that I have to watch him when he's the most dangerous. But I'm going to use it. Dumbledore, forget Dumbledore. This is my choice, nobody else's. I want to know why he's after Grigorovich. So is Harry foolish to try this? Is Harry being an idiot by seeing these visions happening?
I don't think so. Because he he's gotten tricked before too. So I guess it's 50-50. But
yeah, true.
If you could be on high alert, I think if it's anything to lure you in, you get confirmation before you act.
Yeah.
But if it's something that, I guess he could do that with anything though.
Right.
But does he know? I don't know. and part of me thinks like, yeah, he's getting all the facts and finding out what he's doing, but then he could also be faking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they can't act on anything they see in the visions, but it could maybe give them some information. But then you got to think, if you're not going to act on it, why see it? And if Harry sees someone he loves being tortured, he's not going to be able to resist. There's no chance.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
he's got a saving people.
Yeah, so no matter what, if that time comes, Harry's going to go running to wherever it is. But I don't know. I don't know if it was a good idea or bad, but I do think it's a bad idea to keep it to yourself and try and hide it from your friends. So I'm glad they were smart enough to pick up on it, but it felt silly that he was still trying to hide it.
What does he actually want from Grigorovich too? Is it as simple as the wand thing? He wants to know what the heck happened with the wands, or is there something else?
I think of it as being knowledge, but it feels like the knowledge will lead to a wand. I feel like he's going to say, Grigorovich, make me a better wand. You know, like do something. I don't know. It would be terrible, but what if he was able to catch Fawkes and say like, I need another wand with this phoenix feather and I need whatever. So I feel like he would need to make a mega wand. That would be part of it. Or maybe just stops at the knowledge. Maybe it's literally just like, hey, Grigorovich, we don't know what the deal is. Priori Incantatum is some weird thing, you know, one of my people read about. What do we do to stop it? Maybe there's a simpler way to stop it. Maybe Voldemort could do something else with his wand to make it like better again. I don't know if you can reinforce wands, beef up their stats.
Yeah, it's like a video game you got.
Yeah. What do you do to level up a wand? He's like, oh man, I got to go grind it out and like start beating lesser people so I can face Harry again. Maybe, but the thing is, Voldemort doesn't know. We don't know, but Grigorovich might. So I'm thinking he does know. If Voldemort's killing people and he went through Ollivander and now he's like trying another person, some kind of knowledge is going to be like how he can beef things up and take Harry down. Or maybe it's about this gold thing that Harry's wand did that we don't really understand. Yeah. Maybe that's totally new. Something unseen before.
Wand lore is really interesting in this book. It's got some fascinating points to it. And you're just like, what the heck is going on? Why does he want all these wand makers? Why does he want the knowledge that these wand makers have? Because this idea that like the wand chooses the wizard is a really strange concept, to be honest. So it's a fascinating discussion. Yeah.
Well, they were foo-fooing that idea a little bit in this one.
Yeah, just let's get real for a second. In the real world. Okay, so we're going to talk about their plan as they get into the ministry, but these are some of the last lines in this chapter. And then Danny can talk about anything else that he wants to do in this chapter before he goes to the next one. It says, Harry looked more closely and realized that what he had thought were decoratively carved thrones were actually mounds of carved humans.
Oof.
Hundreds and hundreds of naked bodies, men, women, and children, all with rather stupid, ugly faces, twisted and pressed together to support the weight of the handsomely robed wizards.
Ugh.
And this is one of the last lines in the chapter. The golden grills slid apart, and Hermione gasped. 4 people stood before them, 2 of them deep in conversation. A long-haired wizard wearing magnificent robes of black and gold, and a squat, toad-like witch wearing a velvet bow in her short hair and clutching a clipboard to her chest. I love that they were literally in a conversation about Umbridge. They're like, how are we going to find her? And all of a sudden, the door is open, and she's like right there. What? It's great. And meanwhile, Ron's off trying to stop rain happening in an office.
Ron.
I'm going to spoil one little scene from the movies. That's like one of my favorite scenes. It's a great scene. But Ron, when he's in this scene in the movies, he like really gets into character. And one person comes in, Yaxley comes into one of the elevators and is like, there's rain in my office. And Ron goes, have you tried an umbrella? And Yaxley goes, you do realize I'm about to go downstairs and I'm about to question your wife right now. And Ron gets like really scared in the moment. And then Yaxley leaves and it's Harry and Ron disguised as Polyjuice. And Ron just starts freaking out and he goes, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? They've got my wife downstairs and they're going to torture her. It was such a funny part of the movies. And Harry's like, Ron, you're not married. And he's like, oh, that's right. It's so good.
That's great.
Anything else in this chapter?
I like that because it means he's like actually in character.
Yeah.
But this whole time I was more nervous. I'm like, I don't think any of them are good at acting at all. So this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just nervous about they don't know enough about this security. They were not asking enough questions to the real Reg Cattermore.
Yeah.
About like, wait, why aren't you wearing blue and what's going on and why are you nervous? Why are you sad today? Like, I feel like they should have been actually trying to get to know these people a little bit. What?
No, when he said not today, I was like, oh wait, that means
I was like,
something.
hold on, don't do this, guys. Bad choice.
He was like trying to get in. He wasn't dressed in his normal. So he was literally taking a day off and he's going into the ministry to be with his wife. And then because he wasn't wearing his maintenance robes. And Ron was like, it's weird why he's not wearing his blue robes. Mm-hmm. And then he's like literally going into.
But they don't even ask him. I'm like, that's perfect small talk conversation. Oh, where's your normal blue you wear? Yeah. And then at least they would know. And then maybe they would have said, oh, let this guy go. We got to pick somebody else. I don't know.
Not quick enough.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You realize the panic of this stuff too. And like moments of panic, you just have to act and you just go and you're like, they're doing what they can do, you know?
I'd be terrible in that situation.
I was wondering if the raining in the office, because they said that had been kind of happening a lot. I was like, I like to think that is the other people who believe that there is evil in the ministry now kind of fighting back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet there's rain in only the bad offices, you know? It's like the maintenance department's kind of like, oops, can't fix it. Oh, well.
It's like a Weasley product, you know? Like these people are buying it and like implanting little things that cause the whole office to rain. It'd be a great little Weasley product.
Oh, I was thinking about Dirk Cresswell is that one we were talking about from Slughorn, kind of knew him.
Yeah.
And he was giving info to Slughorn about Gringotts because he's the Goblin liaison dude. There's
like fun little world building in this where like it's putting pieces together for other things that we've read.
And now we know Grigorovich is German, not Russian or Albanian or whatever else. But I think that was it.
We know he's German. I love that. That's a good point. He could have just been living there temporarily because he said he moved away.
True. Yeah. And he's a man on the move, so we don't know that much.
Yeah.
But we're following his path.
All right, chapter 13. Give me a quick summary of chapter 13.
I didn't write anything for this either since I just finished it here.
It's kind of more of the same though.
It is. The continuation of the same, exploring the ministry and then ending up down at the trial for Reg Cattermore's wife.
Yeah.
Right.
And then everything goes nuts because Harry just couldn't help himself, which I support. Most of the time I don't, but this time I was like, finally, Umbridge, get her. And I was like, yeah. So that felt good. But then after you stupefy two evil ministry people, you're kind of stuck just running. And then by the end of it, they get out. So that's good. They kind of just cause chaos, save a few people, leave the ministry.
Mm-hmm. Did they really get out?
I think so.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
It ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's like sparks fly.
Yeah. What happens?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and it's purple too.
I know, we've never seen purple.
No, but I mean, Sparks Fly is the name of Taylor Swift's song. It's a purple album, and
oh my gosh,
she's making Taylor Swift reference. Maybe
she is a Harry Potter fan.
We'll get an interview with Taylor Swift. You know,
hi Taylor, thanks for listening to our podcast. I want to give you a shout out, friend of the show, Taylor. Nice catch, Jen.
I think I made that up. Obviously.
How about some of these pamphlets? So they're printing these pamphlets, and it says beneath the title was a picture of a red rose with a simpering face in the middle of its petals, being strangled by a green weed with fangs and a scowl. There was no author's name upon the pamphlet, but again, the scars on the back of his hand seemed to tingle as he examined it. How vile is some of this propaganda? It's like the worst.
I like that even the people who work for her though don't like her.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like all evil people are like, yeah. It's like no, even her employees are just like she's the worst. She's always like staring at us with her evil eye and whatever else. So I like that they don't like her.
Yeah. It is like a scary commentary on power as well, in that these people probably don't think what they're doing is right, but they're like, what are they going to do? So you just kind of go with the flow. Like Percy is such an interesting character to me, and I want to talk about him in a bit. Ooh. But like, what is his mindset right now? Like, what is going on in Percy's mind? Like,
I have no idea.
Does he know that he's wrong? Does he know? Is he still on this warpath of justice? Like, what is going on? Because he was kind of with Scrimgeour. Scrimgeour was using him to come back.
How old is he again? How old is Percy?
Probably 22, 23.
Okay.
Because he graduated.
Yeah, he graduated Harry's 3rd year.
Okay, nice. So he's at least 20.
Yeah.
Maybe older. I don't know.
He's still pretty young. You're easily influenced.
Yep.
Then I wonder if he's like...
Yep.
We have a little bit more... like, I guess seeing in the end that Scrimgeour didn't give up any information about Harry makes me think he's a better person than I realized, which makes me think Percy could still have some good morals hiding under there, even if he is just attracted to power. So there's hope for Percy, but he's still so misguided. I'm just hoping he doesn't now gravitate towards power that he's attracted to, which would be evil people in Voldemort and the current head of the ministry. So it'll be interesting. But I was wondering if any drama was going down when he was in the elevator. I wanted something to happen.
I know. Yeah. I know, right? This is another line that we had that should make us hate Umbridge more, but I don't know. The witch glanced toward the shining mahogany door facing the space full of pamphlet makers. Harry looked too, and rage reared in him like a snake. Where there might have been a peephole on a muggled front door, a large round eye with a bright blue iris had been set into the wood. The eye was shockingly familiar to anyone who had known Alastor Moody. So do you actually think it's Alastor Moody's eye now? Or is it like...
Yeah, now I do. Rereading it more and more, I feel like that is what it's saying. Yep.
So do you think they have Moody's body somewhere? Are they keeping him prisoner? Is he dead? Did they just take his eye?
I don't know. I hope he's alive. And now that there's a chance, I'm like, ooh. But why would they keep him alive when so many other people weren't?
Just took the eye.
Yeah. Or maybe he just died on impact. They never found his body, but they Accio-eyed him to get his eye.
You almost want him to be dead rather than to be alive. Like, I feel like what Jen said is like more desirable. You kind of wish he was dead because you don't want him to go through that stuff again. Right.
Because he would, if he's alive, it's only because they want to torture him for information. But when they did that with Scrimgeour, it's not like they kept him alive to keep torturing him. It was like they tried for however long and are like, all right, we're not getting anything out of him.
They just killed him. Yeah.
So I feel like they would do the same thing with Moody.
Yeah.
Or they would try to do that. They would keep him around and say, we'll let Voldemort deal with him, but then he'd escape before Voldemort gets a chance.
All right. And he's on the run. One-eyed Moody is on the run.
One-eyed Moody. That would be nice. But now he would have made contact with someone by now. Or would he?
Maybe.
I can dream. I'm just thinking because JK always does that. Like, you don't know. Are they alive? Are they dead? What's going on? You know? I feel like she leaves you in the mystery. But I feel like for this one, it's a weird one. We don't get any closure for him. So at some point, we're going to get closure. But it'd be nice if he was alive. And I'm afraid he might not be. And then the closure is going to be there's his dead body. Oh, no.
What do you think about Harry's new nickname, though? Undesirable number 1.
I like it.
Yeah, I know, right? I like he's reading that. And he's like, he has a strange feeling who it is. Like, oh, great. They gave me a new nickname. The Chosen One, the Boy Who Lived, and now Undesirable number 1. I wonder who Undesirable number 2 is.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, we talked about Percy a little bit, but this is kind of in the line that we had. The lift doors opened. The old witch with the anthill hair left, and Ron darted past her out of sight. Harry made to follow him, but found his path blocked as Percy Weasley strode into the lift, his nose buried in some papers he was reading. Not until the doors had clanged shut, again did Percy realize he was in the lift with his father. He glanced up, saw Mr. Weasley, turned radish red, and left the lift the moment the doors opened again. For the second time, Harry tried to get out, but this time he found his way blocked by Mr. Weasley's arm. So again, Percy's a funky character. He's an interesting guy. Like, is he actually working to help promote some of this propaganda, or does he just feel like true remorse, and is he just shamed, and does he feel guilty here?
The fact that this feels like shame. I feel like that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because like the way he acted when he was there with Scrimgeour, or the way he acted at Christmas, all these other times, it was like, I know best. You guys don't know anything. You guys are fools. And he was just like arrogant. This didn't feel arrogant. This felt like something better. A step in the right direction, whatever it is, if it's shame or guilt or just, even if he didn't change his mind about anything, but just thinks he should have handled it better. Turning radish red. It's progress.
Yeah, for sure. We're making headway. Do you think he's ever going to come back, or is he going to like be fighting against Harry?
I hope he comes back. I kind of think he will. Oh man, but when the ministry's gone this far, I don't know. I just don't know. And if he's not reconciling with his own father,
yeah,
I can't see him having much of a change of heart. I feel like you got to start there.
Yeah.
Maybe he will still.
Yep.
Maybe that's what happens this Christmas, because he does come. He said, I'm getting cold. You know, the Dementor's around. I could really use a sweater this year.
Yeah. There's too many Dementors around, which is what the next little passage is. It says, as he reached the foot of the stairs and turned to his right, he saw a dreadful scene. The dark passage outside the courtroom was packed with tall, black-hooded figures, their faces completely hidden, their ragged breathing the only sound in the place. The petrified Muggleborns brought in for questioning sat huddled and shivering on hard wooden benches. Most of them were hiding their faces in their hands, perhaps in an instinctive attempt to shield themselves from the Dementors' greedy mouths. Some were accompanied by families, others sat alone. The Dementors were gliding up and down in front of them, and the cold and the hopelessness and the despair of the place laid themselves upon Harry like a curse. At the foot of the platform, a bright silver, long-haired cat prowled up and down. Harry realized it was there to protect the prosecutors from the despair that emanated from the Dementors. That was for the accused to feel, not the accusers. They talk about this in a second, but how is Umbridge actually able to cast a Patronus? Because Death Eaters are not able to cast a Patronus. That's magic Dumbledore not necessarily invented. He invented other things that you could do with Patronus, but it's really for pure good wizards.
What could she be thinking of?
Or what could she be thinking of? And is she actually pure, like Danny's theories have been all along?
Yeah!
Like, is she good? Like, is she casting this Patronus? Because Voldemort can't cast a Patronus. These other people can't cast a Patronus because they can't experience true joy. Why is she able to cast a Patronus?
Because she's so bad, right? That's like her happy place, torturing
seriously, yeah,
people and having power over them.
But there's got to be something buried in there that it actually is pure, though.
Just like Snape had that.
But we've never seen Snape do a Patronus, though. But that's why, like, it almost feels like that's a polarizing thing. Like, you're a Death Eater if you can't do a Patronus.
Snape's Patronus would be like a bat or like a bug or something.
But, like, the fact that we're seeing Umbridge do a Patronus, I forgot. Did Dumbledore say that Voldemort can't do one or did Lupin maybe say that, or something?
Lupin might have said that. I know there at least Death Eaters can. We don't necessarily know if Voldemort can't do one yet. Maybe he's able to do one. But does he actually truly feel what true joy is and what true happiness is? Maybe a Patronus, I feel like you have to feel and experience true joy and true happiness.
Yep.
Which it's like, it comes from like friendship and loving others and like good relationships, I feel like. or from good moments too. But I feel like Death Eaters, I think Death Eaters just aren't able to cast them.
Yeah. And
But
that's why
Umbridge
this feels
is.
weird. Like
Yeah.
she is like, but what is her joy? You know?
Yeah.
Is it like because she has 15 cats at home and she just like imagines that moment where she's cuddled by all her cats as she lays in her lace bed or whatever? Like, I don't know, but somehow she's finding something. Is she married? Does she have kids? I don't know, parents at home? Where is she? What memory is she thinking of? Or can she just go back to early in her childhood and she can focus on those happy memories from decades yester? I don't know. But I was surprised that she could cast a Patronus.
There's a line I'm trying to find that it kind of explains it to some extent. Jenn is right. Mrs. Cattermole sobs, masked Harry's footsteps as he made his way carefully toward the steps that led up to the raised platform. The moment he had passed the place where the Patronus cat patrolled, he felt the change in temperature. It was warm and comfortable here. The Patronus, he was sure, was Umbridge's, and it glowed brightly because she was so happy here, in her element, upholding the twisted law she had helped to write. Slowly and very carefully, he edged his way along the platform behind Umbridge, Yaxley, and Hermione, taking a seat behind the ladder. So she's like just has...
At least Harry's perspective on it, that's why.
Yeah,
so,
she just has pure joy in this moment because she is in her element. So fascinating to me.
It is a little weird, though, because then you'd think that a Patronus could be cast by anyone in joy, even if their joy was misguided or misplaced. Like a Death Eater could find joy in evil things and still cast a Patronus, but we don't have enough to go on. Although we got another thing about the Patronus here, where Hermione, we were reminded she has trouble casting it, and she was able to, but then it disappeared when she got nervous and worried, because she was worried about getting caught and how like crazy everything was. And then I thought, I wonder if Hermione has like anxiety and that's why she always has a hard time. And that's what makes her really good at stuff, because she's always thinking ahead, but she probably is just always in her own head and has a hard time meditating, calming down, whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
for
she
sure.
seems pretty calm. But
She does, but at the same time, she's a little scared and a little nervous.
are you layering up another layer?
Take as many blankets as you
Whoa,
need. I got all
nice.
sorts of them. Anyone that you see in this apartment, take it. Keep cranking the heat. No, it's not Wes's. But yeah, we don't necessarily know why. The Hermione, she's kind of struggling to cast the Patronus in that one moment.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one, that she's like not necessarily gifted with this. Like, it was the only spell that she struggles with is the Patronus charm.
I thought it was the polyjuice potion.
Mafalda Hopkirk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
like that was interfering
Maybe.
with her Patronus?
I thought that
That's
she
interesting.
wasn't good at it, not Hermione.
Oh, that's funny. I did not read it that way. I forget exactly how it words it.
I read it
but no, I think
that
Harry,
way.
I think Harry was saying she's never been good at. This is like the only spell she's ever struggled with, really.
But I thought that this lady came up before and someone said that she was, I don't know. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
It's the only spell she ever has trouble with. Like, it sounds more like constant. Like, this is Hermione's little issue.
But I was still thinking they were talking about
the
that
other
lady.
woman.
But do they not know anything about that lady?
Yeah, I don't think they know her really.
Oh, I thought it was one of the ones that was in when Harry had the court case or something, and they're like, you could do a Patronus, or I can't even do like a full. It was not her.
It was not the lady who was being very encouraging
Okay.
to Harry.
But then, because then she goes to the courthouse too, right? Hermione has to go to the courthouse, so I thought it was the same person.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be kind of fun if
that
it
would
was.
be. Yeah.
But yeah, that was. There are full-grown adults who really struggle with this. And there's another point. People even on chat are mentioning the idea of Death Eaters. It's not necessarily that they probably can't do them. It's just that they just have no need of it.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know if that was explicitly mentioned in the books, but it might be like extra stuff that people are considering, because you've never really seen a Death Eater cast a Patronus ever. Like, we don't know what Malfoy's Patronus is. We know what all these other good people's Patronuses are, but I guess they don't. It's not like they don't have these reactions to joy that people who have need of a Patronus too.
Right.
Maybe they're not necessarily trying to fight off Dementors in a certain way. I'm not positive.
My feet are so.
Jen's about to go get a third blanket. You can keep cranking the heat if you need to.
No, it's just me. It's okay.
Before you were like, you had all the way to, it was like an invisibility cloak. You can just see Jen's head. I need one that like perfectly blends into the couch. So when
But yeah, sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit.
Where did you skip ahead?
Well, just to that part, because we just skipped over the trial.
Yeah.
But like, this is where we're really.
No, the trial is just vile. It's just terrible and it's just awful. And then they take the locket there. And then, Hermione's not able to cast Patronus. Harry casts immediately, and it's like this full stag. It's like, this massive thing. I love there's a one description when they're all getting in the elevator. I think it was just like the stag was patrolling or being like a sentinel or something like that. It was like just watching, trotting back and forth, like making sure they were all safe. It was like the wolf, the alpha wolf of the pack or something like that. I just love that description so much. But it says, again, you hate Umbridge so much here. It says, she cried harder than ever. Umbridge laughed, a soft, girlish laugh that made Harry want to attack her. She leaned forward over the barrier, the better to observe her victim, and something gold swung forward too, and dangled over the void. The locket. Whether because the Patronus had vanished or because they had sensed that their masters were no longer in control, and this is later on, they seemed to have abandoned restraint. Mrs. Cattermole let out a terrible scream of a slimy scabbed hand grabbed her chin and forced her face back. Expecto Patronum, the silver stag soared from the tip of Harry's wand and leaped toward the Dementor, which fell back and melted into the dark shadows. Again, the stag's light, more powerful and more warming than the cat's protection, filled the whole dungeon as it cantered around and around the room. So, first of all, I mean, Danny talked about this point before, but was Harry dumb to just immediately stupefy and stun Umbridge here?
No. What else did you do?
Honestly, I think if his emotions didn't get the better of him, he would have tried a slower plan, try to follow Umbridge home or like do something else more sneaky.
The thing, the Dementor's kiss, wasn't that what that was going to be?
No. Ultimately, yes, but she hadn't been sentenced yet, but they knew what was going to happen. But I don't think it would have been a Dementor's kiss. I think they would have been Azkaban or somewhere else. I don't know exactly how it works, but
that's what it said, I thought.
Maybe it did. Did I miss it? Either way, it wasn't going to be good.
You're taking notes, so I guess maybe you're right.
But I know that at the very end, when he cast his Patronus, it was because it was going to be the Dementor's kiss. So that was to protect her. But the stupefy, I think, was more of Umbridge. I was going to say hatred. Does Harry hate her?
Yes.
Yeah, because I see what you're saying.
Not.
Yeah,
that's fair. But I just like to think that good people love and dislike instead of hate. But he's allowed to hate her. I think we all hate her now,
Again,
Harry, after this page, I started to not like her.
Harry wanted to attack her. In quotes.
And it worked out for the best, because what else would they have done to get this locket?
Sure.
It would have been such a pain. It's kind of nice to just be like guns blazing now,
Right,
you know?
Yeah. They're in like the downstairs corridor. They're let's stun them. What they should have done, they should have like tied them up or something like that, so Yaxley doesn't have to come back. That's like the one thing.
Yep.
But adrenaline, you're making some poor decisions. You don't blame them. They're 17 years old. That happens. It's like, the crap hits the fan and you're like, okay, let's just go.
I was a little annoyed that Hermione was like, let's replace the locket and whatever. I'm like, is that important? I don't know. Just run.
Yeah, I know, right?
And if you're going to do anything, grab some of her hair, but don't spend too much time building a new locket.
But then she's gonna know it's important, so it was smart.
Yeah, maybe
it was. Yeah.
Too bad they didn't do that before. Why did they have a fake one to replace it with?
Like the one they gave to Creature.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it seems funny. Like they should have gone in with that plan already. A little fake. But I'm glad he did it. I think it worked out well. Kind of. I mean, we'll see. And maybe this purple light at the end was the same reason they were able to be tracked before. It's like someone intercepted their apparition.
I'm also thinking in this moment what Harry and Ron thought of when they were casting the Patronus. Like, I always like that thought, like what were their actual thoughts? Because generally with Harry, when he casts Patronus, Joe gives us insight into like what Harry was thinking. But in this one, we don't. So I'm always curious when she doesn't give us those details, what Harry was thinking, and then even what Hermione was thinking. Like, I have and it's like nothing confirmed or anything like that, but I would love if Hermione was like thinking of her parents or something like that. Like coming back to her parents and like super deep memories. That's why I love that change in the books to the movie is one of the few changes I like from book to movie, where Harry's learning the Patronus. He doesn't get it by thinking of Quidditch or by thinking of flying. He gets it by thinking of his mom and dad, like just being with them, just talking to them, just sitting with them, you know?
I wonder if he even could have been thinking to reading the letter from his mom.
Right, yeah.
And seeing like the similarities in their G and like feeling like just the idea that he could have potentially deep happiness even now, even in these last few weeks would be kind of nice. But I have a feeling, it could be far back memories too.
Yeah.
But maybe he's still experiencing deep happiness and joy.
Yeah, right. Let's hope.
Even in hard times.
So Ron lets them know before that the ruse was kind of up, like when they were leaving, that there were issues because Harry stole the eye. So was Harry dumb to steal the eye?
I have a hard time picturing that as being such a problem. Like the whole ministry is on lockdown because of this. I'm like, none of the employees who work for Umbridge like her, and she uses this eye to spy on them. Like, wouldn't that be a classic prank to just like take an eye or like interfere with that? Like that doesn't seem worthy of shutting the whole ministry down. But maybe there was more to that story. He tripped some alarm in her office, or the Minister of Magic, Pius Thicknees.
Yeah.
He maybe when he was there, he like actually did kind of see Harry, and it was more about that than the missing eye. But I don't know. Feels bad timing.
I know, very bad timing. I know. But then this is one of the last lines in the chapter. We'll talk about what happens here. Actually, is there anything else that you want to mention before we talk about the final little?
No. Actually, I think that's it.
It's not the most information dense chapter, but it's a great chapter because you're like, it really is like an Ocean's 11 movie. It's like poorly planned Ocean's 11 movie. You're like, what's happening here? But they say, "Let's go," Harry yelled. He seized Hermione by the hand and Ron by the arm and turned on the spot. Darkness engulfed them, along with the sensation of compressing bands. But something was wrong. Hermione's hand seemed to be sliding out of his grip. He wondered whether he was going to suffocate. He could not breathe or see. The only solid things in the world were Ron's arm and Hermione's fingers, which were slowly slipping away. And then he saw the door of number 12 Grimmauld Place with its serpent door knocker. Before he could draw breath, there was a scream and a flash of purple light. Hermione's hand was suddenly vice-like upon his, and everything went dark again. What happened?
I don't know.
I feel like someone attached to Hermione when they're apparating, right?
Yeah.
Because if she's being pulled
in the apparition, being pulled, like she was being slowed down, like it was a chain of people behind them. Yeah. Could someone else have grabbed Hermione? And Harry's accidentally apparating with a chain of people instead of just two. Well, even with two, feels like it'd be tough. And Harry's the one doing it, I guess. I thought they got like intercepted in the apparition. I was kind of missing, like they landed at number 12. I thought they got whisked away somewhere else by like this purple light. But now I'm thinking they just landed there in a trap kind of. And then the purple light was actually a spell on them.
Have we ever seen purple light before?
We have?
Have we?
Oh.
I thought so.
Maybe, but what would it be? I can't think of. It
was in the Ministry of Magic. With the kids.
With the kids.
Right?
Wow.
Purple light.
Jenn.
Like, you mean when they were
fighting them when they were stuck?
Like Lucius Malfoy and all of them in the... Oh.
Lucius? No,
I was thinking, was it that time?
No, when Ginny, Neville,
Yeah,
Ron.
when they went and with the
was
prophecy. Yeah, because remember Lucius and Bellatrix were there.
Oh, I'm thinking of
Was
Draco.
it in that room or was it in the
No, it was when they were moving, I thought.
with the death veil?
With the time turner things.
Do you remember what the spell was?
Ugh, no.
It doesn't tell us. The books don't tell us what
It's just that there was purple light.
It was a really mysterious, weird thing. We had a discussion about it because the person who got hit was Hermione.
Oh, yeah.
She gets hit by this purple spell. And her only words are, or she goes like, oof, or something like that. And then she collapses.
Right.
But then she was fine.
Yeah. But when that happened, I remember in the moment we were like, did she die?
Yes, it was a scary moment.
Yeah.
But then, wait, what did happen to her? Was she
They
out
don't
of commission
say
for a
anything,
while
I don't
and they
think.
had to like go fix her at the
I
end?
feel like
I'm kind of forgetting.
They never really said anything. So could it be
I
like...
remember that well.
So could it be like, they put something in her and then that was like, this is the moment where like it
Where it comes
released or
back
something?
out,
Is
yeah.
that the tracer? Is that the tracker or something?
Or was it just some other kind of spell that we just don't see a lot and they're just getting hit with it again? But it hit all three of them.
But it's probably the
it kind
same
of knocked
person.
Hermione out. It was like
well, it was a Death Eater. It
was a Death Eater, yeah.
So it's the same Death Eater.
Like Babyface or one of those other
Maybe
dudes
it's
at
one
the
of
time.
their like specialty.
And then maybe it's like to capture someone, it's kind of like it immobilizes you. Well, why is that any different than anything else? Maybe it's more harsh or tortureful. But if Hermione's experienced it before and she's good now, I wonder what it does.
Yeah, but Dumbledore was alive then.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe he helped save her.
Oh, and you're saying now it's trouble because they're getting hit with this.
Or maybe Snape helped. But they didn't say anything, so I don't know.
Either way, it gives Death Eater vibes. If it's the only other time we've seen purple and it was an attack on Hermione, it's not good. But they're at Grimmauld Place. So
Yeah, but maybe they figured out the
they
first
saw
step.
the door of number 12. So is there any chance this is something good? I don't think so. Like Mr. Weasley's there, like, hey guys, no time to explain.
Yeah.
Zap.
Purple
And then
spell.
takes him somewhere else. It feels like, but who? So then the only choice is that this is Snape, who is waiting there for them and catches them, or they didn't apparate correctly. They didn't land on the top step. They landed on the second to top or third to top because it was so hectic. And then the Death Eaters that were watching the place were waiting for them, and they're like, "Oh, hey guys, done."
Or it could be something like simple, like it says Yaxley's right behind them, so it could be like Danny's talking about the skin to skin with apparition. It could be brush against them, and they apparated to this place, and Yaxley's like with them, and then they're all hell breaks loose when they get there.
Yeah, because it does sound like his
like
grip wasn't
Hermione's.
loosening on Ron, just Hermione.
Yeah.
So maybe she's the one that had a passenger, and it was Yaxley or someone else.
But then it says again, Hermione's hand was suddenly vice-like upon his, and everything went dark again.
Like all her muscles tensed when they got hit with whatever. And it went dark again. See, I was reading that as like they were being taken somewhere else, like another apparition. Or like this apparating felt like it took longer than normal. Harry didn't know if he was going to be able to like hold his breath that long or whatever. Thought he was going to suffocate. Again, maybe that would make sense. He's carrying other people with him.
Couldn't he call for Creature to help him?
Wherever he ends up. That's kind of cool. Get out of jail free card. He's just like hanging out somewhere in like Death Eater prison. And then he's like, hey, Creature. He pops in. Let's get out of here. Pops out. But I feel like they'd have
they'd have
spells against that. The
against
charms that you can't apparate. Creature could get around, but maybe not side by side.
But that all happened so fast. I meant like right there.
Literally right here. Like he lands. He's like, Creature, let us in.
It's probably not used to it anyways, though. Having Creature around.
It's not an instinct yet.
We'll see. You guys
Right
are
on the other side of this page.
You can literally go home and read this. So
We can, or is it going to be a live read?
I don't even know. These two, the next two aren't going to be live read. The next two are
okay.
good, but
Nice.
no
Cool.
live read for this.
Does that mean we can turn the page right now and get a sneak peek?
Who are you?
I'm going to pull a Jenn and look over.
I was going to say that.
Let's Let me actually
Well, I
confirm
wait
that.
for John to give permission.
I
though.
want to
Yeah.
see the pictures.
Yeah, we'll look at the picture.
I'm sitting on it.
Maybe that'll be for after our exit music.
I can't move.
Then we'll do the picture. If you apparate to the top step though, and you're not the secret keeper, and the secret keeper didn't let you in, you couldn't end up on the top step. But would you even be able to apparate with them? Or would it be like you apparate just like 3 feet short and you land on another step?
So, I mean, could it be possible that Hermione or Yaxley is now
He's been brought in on the secret because of this? I think because of our understanding of Secret Keeper is a little hazy. Hermione would say maybe because she thought Snape could tell other people about the secret. But I think our understanding was a little more that the Secret Keeper themselves, like that Secret Keeper had to do the sharing. Otherwise, why would these Death Eaters be outside if Snape could just tell them how to get in? Then they'd all just go in and investigate and find them. So it feels like you wouldn't be able to.
But why hasn't Snape gone back in?
Maybe he did, and that's why the thing with the umbrella holder or whatever it was.
Yeah, but if all the Death Eaters are outside waiting, it seems
He's
like
not.
you should go in.
I'm wondering well, maybe he already tried and got hit with that tongue-tying curse. But no, he would just try again or something.
I was
He'd
thinking
find a way
you
around
can't
that.
go in because there's some clause that if you turn on them.
Like a betrayal clause built into it. I
But
wonder
Wormtail
how
did that.
complicated you can make that stuff as a secret keeper, you know? Because, well, it is Fidelius after all. And if you are unfidelious, get out of here. Because it feels like then the betrayal would break that, right? It's like you're keeping a secret, but if you're not being faithful to the crew, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to that. No, because Wormtail betrayed them. He was unfidelious
Yeah, but then
too.
they learned from that.
And Dumbledore made it stronger and better. He's been working on the Fidelius this whole time, trying to figure out how to make it better.
I love when Danny has conversations with himself about this. You're like, put him on that mic, and Danny's going to do a podcast on his own.
Over
He's
here?
gonna do right there. Then he's going to move to this mic. Then he's going to move to this mic. What do you think about that?
Maybe this mic will actually get some action.
He'll only go to that mic whenever he's going to make a comment about psychology or friends.
I like it.
All right, you guys want to do the wrap up of this one?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Who are your 3 people, or your favorite moment, your House Cup winner, and your hot tamale? Let's go over House Cup winner.
Hermione?
You think so? What
Harry,
did it?
maybe. I don't know. Well, she's the one that
She did figure out some smart things. I mean, she always does.
Yeah, she probably does, but like what?
But Phineas, like
Oh, like bringing the painting?
yeah. That. I feel like there was a couple
smart.
things.
And then she did the pendant,
Yep.
the locket,
Oh, like making the other one.
Multiplying
She is thinking ahead.
the polyjuice. She was all over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very prepared. She was making the list, making the plan, doing her
Checking it
twice.
twice.
Yeah, of course.
You set that one up on
Yeah, a
purpose,
little bit.
though.
And I tried to close the door, but it was too late.
You opened it.
Yep, it
Yeah,
was
you
already
open it
open.
to us. We're gonna close that quick.
Yeah, Hermione did a good job.
But then I liked Harry too.
Yeah, me too. He's gonna get my favorite moment. But Hermione, House Cup.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, why are you taking my things?
No, I'm not. You don't know what I'm taking. I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm giving my House Cup to Mr. Weasley here.
Oh, nice.
You know, like
Why?
why?
Like how? I don't get
Oh, Jennifer.
Danny, explain it for me.
it. Yeah.
But think of how he was standing firm in what he believed
Yeah.
and getting sassy in the elevator. And he was not with polyjuice or an invisibility cloak or hiding behind anything. He's legit putting his money where his
forget
mouth
what
is and
happened.
just like
He
in the elevator with who was that he was saying it to? Harry
himself, who was
but he didn't think he was. He's
Runcorn,
thinking, yeah. So he's
Oh,
like
that's
straight up
right.
to who we're thinking is a Death Eater or at
Runcorn's
least a very evil
he's an
dude.
intimidating dude.
And Mr. Weasley's like, I'm not scared of you.
Yeah.
What did he say? I feel like I need to go back and look at it. It was so sassy and great.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
mean,
yeah, you go.
Harry let him know that he was being tracked. But before that, I forgot the exact wording of what he was saying there. But he's talking about Cattermole. He's saying that Cattermole is like twice or 10 times the person that Runcorn is.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like sweet. You know, like this guy is literally on the front lines fighting for his life. It's great.
Dirk Cresswell is 10 times the wizard you are.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Cresswell.
great.
Hot tamale, Dirk Cresswell.
We don't really know Dirk Cresswell except that Horace Slughorn, he was one of his like students that he was like kind of a little proud of. He's the head of the Goblin Liaison Office, tells me about Gringotts. But he's like a high up job.
What?
And he's the one that got kicked out in these chapters. He got booted from his job for being Muggle-born.
Do you remember that?
No, I did
got
look at
the
my
purple
character
spell. That's
list for
all
that
I
one.
have to contribute.
That was pretty good. I barely remember what I read last night.
And he said,
kinda wanna
don't
steal
pretend
yours.
you track
That's a
down
good
the
one.
wizard
That's a
who
good one.
faked
I
his
like it.
family tree. Oh, that's cool.
Kristen's trying to talk.
Sorry. Got
It's okay.
distracted.
Danny's just.
I'm getting excited about family trees.
He can't help it.
Yep. All right, go, Kristen, go.
No, I'm stealing John's. I like that, Mr.
Yeah.
Weasley.
He's great. He's
It's
really on the
always
front
couch
lines.
versus couch, you know?
Hmm?
You two versus
Couch versus-
us two.
I mean, it happens.
We're gonna sway Danny over to our side. Danny likes Mr. Weasley now,
Oh,
so.
fine. What the heck?
He's going to be my hot tamale.
All right, let's go over favorite moment.
Harry
Jennifer.
Potter.
We're going over favorite moment though, not on tamale.
Harry. All right, explain the moment.
With the muggles. Or in the Ministry of Magic when he's saving them.
Good, you didn't say the N word. We were all getting really nervous there.
When he was saving them, like that whole, the scene.
Muggle born.
There you go.
Muggle, whatever. I'm
Yep.
not.
I just
that's
call
not
them wizards,
ingrained
actually.
at all.
I think the stupefied to Umbridge, just, oof, that was so
that's
good.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then the fact
part
that he
of my
got
scene.
Yaxley too, I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, Harry's good too.
Yeah.
You just wham wham.
It's like a duel.
Thank you, ma'am.
No.
Oh boy.
Now it's that couch's turn.
Yeah, nice.
You got a favorite moment? There's a lot
I
of
have a
small
really,
little
really
moments in this one.
yeah. Really is couch versus couch. Big moments, small moments. I do have a random, very small moment. It was when Harry was like being sarcastic to Ron and Hermione.
Yeah.
And he says, fine, I'll stay here.
Yeah.
Let me know if you ever defeat Voldemort, won't you?
Yeah, and they both laugh.
As they laugh, I felt like obviously there's a camaraderie, but I feel like it was such a camaraderie in that small moment. I loved that.
That is a great moment.
And I'm going to steal it.
I'm not gonna steal that one,
Yeah,
but
you
I'm gonna
got
steal
his own.
something kind of close. I love how clean 12 Grimmauld Place is.
Oh, yes.
I don't know
so
why.
True.
But like the dinginess is always gross to me. I'm like, I would never really want to live in a place like 12 Grimmauld Place.
Yep.
And then they walk into the kitchen downstairs and it's like spotless. The pans are like perfect. Like I love Creature's little like turnaround there.
That was a great moment.
That's some of my favorite
Yes.
stuff when he is just cleaning. He's like the house is in perfect order, almost in perfect order. He's making some delicious food. Like they are living
Oh,
like
the
kings
French
right now.
soup or something?
Yeah, the
Sounded
French soup.
good.
Yep.
French onion soup.
Mushrooms.
It was as good as he's ever had. It was and I just love that. I love French onion soup too.
That's
Yeah,
so
me
cute,
too.
though. He
Yeah.
just feels like so loved and
I
at
know.
home. And like,
I know.
like it's so cute.
And it is like cute.
I was
All
a
right.
little cautious. What if it's poison?
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
just
As soon as
enjoy
we-
the moment.
I tried, but I just was like,
Goodness gracious. Live your life.
I was like, just for a second, I was like, oh no, but if it is, but I think it's okay.
You can let go.
I'll try.
Someone made a mention in the comments. Even his ear hair improved in this chapter.
Yeah,
like he didn't
that's
have
so
his ear
funny.
hair popping out of his ears. It's great.
Ew, I didn't know.
Which I
that
think is
either.
also funny that it feels like it supports that idea of like when you have a good, strong relationship, it's not only is he bettering the house like his job, he's bettering
Yeah,
himself.
exactly.
Like he didn't
He's
even
healthier.
he didn't clean his ear hair before that.
I
And
know.
he's like, now I want to do so well for Harry that I want to clean my own ear hair. Like that doesn't help Harry at all, but I'm proud of him all the same.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, that's why I clean my ear hair now because I met you.
And his
You just said in relation.
That could be a shirt. Now I clean my ear hair now that I met you.
What a conversation starter.
With a picture of Creature on it. I like it. With just
work.
big old ear hairs sticking out.
Just as long as you clean your ears.
Yeah. You can get a girl if you clean your ear hair, or a guy if you clean your ear hair.
Take note, man.
Yeah. That's all it takes. That's a good moment, though. Hot tamale?
Jenny.
I literally was just looking at the page and Jenny is right here.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, she is on her way to Hogwarts,
Yeah.
according to what they assume.
Yeah.
She did come up in conversation or thought.
I can't even imagine going off to Hogwarts right now.
Me neither.
No.
There's no other plan. They're like, yep, send her away.
Why didn't Ginny just go
Good.
with them? Because he's going to torture Hermione and Ron, so might as well add
Ridiculous.
Ginny then,
Yeah.
too. Or it's worse that she's separate from them.
Mm.
Or do the people not know? Do the people not know? All right.
know.
Hot tamale.
I didn't do my homework.
Creature.
Creature's kind of a hot tamale, honestly.
Yeah.
Not a
After we
bad
were
one.
just talking about him.
He's a clean tamale.
He is a clean tamale. His robes are pure white. He's got bling on.
Whoa. I missed all of this. Description.
Yeah, at the beginning. For me, Arthur Weasley.
It's a good one.
The hot tamale.
Yeah, it was spicy.
I like picking obscure ones, but I got nothing.
I'm just going straight Harry for this one. Harry's a hot tamale. He's a
Nice.
little like rash and a little crazy, but he's a little spicy in this chapter. Like the things that he's saying, his sarcasm with the trio, like how he just, he acts and he's like, okay, stupefy. He's a hot tamale in this chapter.
Honorable mention to
true.
Reg Cattermole.
Yeah. Reg Cattermole.
He's like, I gotta be here for my
Yeah,
wife. I can
yeah.
barely stand. I'm barfing so much.
Exactly.
But I'm here.
Yeah. That is cute.
Yeah.
That is really cute.
Oh, I like that. I'll give it to him.
Nice. Love that.
Cute.
Well, thank you for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Let's look, quick.
I can't see. Oh, they're in the forest.
It's the thief, right? The chapter is the thief.
The thief, yeah.
The Thief.
You have to read out loud. You're going to read.
The Thief. No, I'm not gonna read the chapter yet. Harry opened his eyes and was dazzled by
I love when she laughs like that.
That's so. I was ready. They're all the way in the back. Say it again.
oh my. Oh goodness. What the?
I love this.
This is what my godson was like right before bedtime last night. Okay.